Hi everyone, welcome to Krispy Talk. Krispy Talk is where I chat with creative professionals from all sort of backgrounds. Hi Adam, you may join us. Just gonna wait. Krispy Talk is the space where I chat with creative professionals, directors, actors, models, and glean valuable insights about questions that matter. Hi, Adam.
Hi, Christina.
Questions that matter, and of course, get to know them better, their lives and their worlds that they live in. And my name is Kristina Pahomova. I'm an actress and creative director, artistic director of Krispy Production. And today, I'd like to introduce to you an amazing human being, our first guest, actually in 2021, Adam Marple, who is a director, scenographer, educator, and the co-artistic director of the Theater of Others, an international theater company with an ensemble of artists on every continent. Wow. Adam is also my former teacher in LaSalle, and that's how we know each other. Hi, Adam.
Hi,
Thank you
Christina.
for joining.
It's my pleasure.
How have you been? It's great to see you.
You as well. I've been okay. How have you been?
Very well. In Hong Kong. Probably my last year here. Maybe going back to Singapore. Yeah.
Really?
I mean, we stayed here much longer than we planned.
Oh,
we were supposed to stay here for like 1 year, and it's already been 4. But that's what usually happens, apparently, to people like me. So yeah, how are you? Are you you're in Puebla, Mexico?
Puebla. Yes.
Do I pronounce it correctly?
Puebla, Mexico. I'm about an hour and a half, hour 45 minutes from Mexico City, in the mountains. Just kind of hunkered down, surviving coronavirus in Mexico.
Wow. And how has your year been so far, your new year?
2021 so far, the last 28 days, pretty good. We had our production, Limb from Limb,
Yes.
2 weeks ago, a week and a half ago now, and so the first half of the month just kind of flew by until we got there, and then we've been on the post-show blues, coming out of the show, and then
I'm gonna ask you about the shows and the feedbacks later. Yeah.
But since then, it's just been kind of full-time, making sure the theater company is ready for the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. So we've got a lot of things lined up, and I've got a lot of free time on my hands. So it's good to kind of spend the time thinking about the company that way.
So since you started talking about next things, what's next for you?
Well, next for me in terms of the company, I have workshops coming up, which I'm sure we'll talk about. I've got the podcast, the ongoing podcast with the company as well. And then we're about to announce, should I announce it here? Maybe I should announce it. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. I'll go ahead and announce it here.
Exclusive.
We are going to be announcing soon on our website and on the podcast and everything else. We're going to be doing an audio drama festival. So since we already have the podcast, we are seeking submissions from young playwrights to do roughly a 30-minute audio drama that we will help produce. We will help find actors if you need it, help find a director if you need it, and help kind of mentor and supervise through the process. But we're looking to kind of help young playwrights put up something that could be audio drama, more about the listening experience than the visual experience. So since we still can't gather yet, how can we take the theater on the road? And so I think we'll be announcing that officially on the 1st. So that'll be on our website. And the submission process will be, I believe, the end of March 31st. March 30th is when we will close it down, and we'll do the vetting process and let everybody know by April. and then help them throughout the May, June, July months, and start producing it in August and September to leave it out into the world week by week, every Thursday, September and October. So
So
that's the idea.
how many plays you're gonna select? Is there like a
Well,
number or?
there's not a number because we don't know how many we're going to get, but we are going to cap it at 8, so no more than 8. But if we don't get 8, then it'll be what it'll be. But
You
basically
will
every
get it.
Thursday, well, fingers crossed. Every Thursday in the months of September and October is when we will release them. So week by week by week, so 4 weeks in each month. Hopefully that's the idea at
Sounds
least.
amazing. And it's all
Yeah,
gonna be audio in audio format. It's very
yeah,
interesting. It's very
we.
similar. It's very similar what I do with Village,
Mhm.
but it's all like video, and you're going into audio space, which is like I can see that you're exploring that space and you're really enjoying it because of your podcast, which
Yeah.
I am a huge fan of. I'm like obsessed. I already told you, like it became
Yeah.
my morning ritual. I listen to it almost like I just started it, but I'm enjoying it. And it's
Thank you.
so entertaining, it's educating. And obviously I'm a bias because, you and Booty were my teachers. So it's always great to listen, to hear your voices again
Well,
and
thank you.
revisit things that you've taught us in LaSalle. Yeah, and yeah, it's really priceless. So I also watched a play, Limp to Limp, and quite honestly, it was really different from what I've seen before in Zoom format. It wasn't on Zoom. It was on what's it called?
It's Crowdcast. We were on Zoom, but we were streaming it from Zoom to Crowdcast because Zoom is not built for
Yeah,
what everybody's trying to do with on it. So there's another
yeah,
platform called Crowdcast, which is specifically for
yeah,
live work, live performance.
yeah. The quality was much better than on
Yeah.
Zoom. Um, so how was it? How was the experience? What kind of feedback you got from the audience?
Um, Good, really good feedback. I mean, I think really good feedback. It's hard to tell when the people who are staying after for the talk back on Zoom, are giving us great praise. I'm actually listening for more of the critique and what didn't quite work or what didn't quite land. The praise is, I always say that if the show goes well, it's the actors who get the praise. If the show goes wrong, the director gets the blame. So when I hear nothing
Hmm.
but praise, I'm glad for the actors. They need that, they deserve that, they worked really hard, but it doesn't help me figure out what is working, what can I do next, what didn't land right. So it's an incredible learning experience for all of us because this is a brand new medium. I mean, we have all been stuck on Zoom for almost a year now, but to actually
Hmm.
try to produce work that is not um, that's engaging, that's not boring, that breaks the medium a little bit, but also expands it and explores it in a way because we've all seen really kind of bad Zoom theater, which is I'm just going to do a play and I'm going to put a camera in front of it, and that doesn't work. Or I'm going to try and do a movie and I don't have the equipment or the technology for it, and it doesn't work. So, what can this do? What can you inherently do better and different on this medium? And so it was a lot of time exploring that, and I think we achieved that. I think really having a participation aspect with the audience, having a movement aspect of the audience because we are a site-specific theater company, having a what is real, what is not real, which we're always kind of exploring. All these things we kind of put out there to really, like I said, break the mold of what we're seeing a lot of in Zoom theater because we didn't want another bad Zoom play. We wanted something that was um, interesting and engaging. I'll leave it at that. Yeah.
So specifics. By the way, viewers, please feel free to ask us any questions by typing in comments. You can ask Adam anything you want about theater making, directing, and etc.
Absolutely.
So I want to hear like more specific things on. I mean, you watched virtual theater this past year, I guess a lot.
Yeah,
Can you name specific things that really didn't work for you as an audience?
sure. Treating your audience as if it is, you know, 10, 20 meters over there, like you're actually in a theater space. So one of the first things we saw, and I don't want to name names or call out anybody, because anybody doing anything last April or May or June, they're heroes because they were on the frontier, they were trying things out and doing poorly, but they were at least trying. So they were very brave in that they were actually making work. So I don't want to name any names in that respect, but we saw
Mm-hmm.
something very early on, which was basically people yelling at their cameras, projecting very loudly, too loud, as if they were still on stage because they had been rehearsing on stage. That doesn't work. The next thing that we saw was something where they very specifically started using a lot of digital overlay and filters and green screen very, very early on in the process. And it didn't work either because we don't have the technology, we don't have the money, we don't have the skills and the technique of this thing. So it looked very kind of crappy 1990s video game, and a lot of it does. Um,
Yeah, the
some other,
virtual background, I hate those. This
it's
is
yeah
like
the
it's really doesn't
the
work for
un,
me.
yeah the uncanny valley. We know it's fake, and
Mm.
so we're watching theater which we know is fake, and then we're even making it look even more fake, and we're asking the audience to believe that it just doesn't work. It doesn't work this way. Other things that didn't work, ignoring the fact that there was a camera there. So having a scene this way and putting another actor in the zoom this way so that it looked like they were looking at each other, but they weren't looking at each other, and there was no acknowledgement of the audience. Um,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, basically just trying to do what we do in theater spaces on this. Anything that was that way just didn't work at all. It never worked at all. No matter how good of an actor they were, no matter how good of a story it was, um, it just didn't quite land because
Yeah,
I wasn't there
yeah,
and you weren't caring about me. You didn't pay attention to me.
yeah. Are you a tech person, Adam? Are you like a techie person?
A
Not techie,
techie person.
tech, techie person. Are you good with tech
Uh,
technologies?
I'm not a Luddite, but I'm certainly not, on the forefront of, they say that there's the early adopters, and then there's the other people, and then there's the rest of society. I'm probably right there in the middle. I'm not at the early forefront of technology stuff, but
Right.
I'm a little bit there. Yeah. Why? Why do you ask?
For limb to limb, you work with a technical person who
Yeah.
help you. I don't know, I've noticed that your actors had microphones, for example. Where did you get those? That was
Uh,
quite interesting.
those microphones were the banes of our existence. So
Why?
uh, I am not. I'm going to say very bad things about this microphone company. It's called Rode microphones, and they were horrible. Not the sound quality, but you
Price?
would no well, yes, the price, but also you would get the microphone. You could put it anywhere, and it was great sound quality. But you had to have a cord that would go into another cord that would go into another cord in your computer, and it didn't. They did not sell those cords with the microphones, so we had to go to Amazon 3 or 4 different times because all of us had MacBooks, and anyway, they made it much more complicated than it needed to be. But the microphones were wireless mics that a lot of my girlfriend is a yoga teacher, and so I saw a lot of yoga
Hmm.
teachers using these in their classes, and it didn't pick up a lot of physical movement noise or wind coming in. So we thought this is a really good microphone.
Would you
Um,
use it again in your next show?
I mean, if there's not a better solution out there, yeah, because the sound quality was really, really quite good,
It
we
was really
think.
good, yeah. It was
Uh,
really good.
but it was just troubleshooting it. The company themselves didn't make it easy for us to troubleshoot. But having Joshua Waterstone, who is my childhood best friend, he's also a director as well, and
Hmm.
he is using a lot of the OBS open broadcast stream. I think is what it's called. I'm not really sure. It's called OBS to capture performance in Zoom or capture performance via any camera, honestly, and then take it to another medium like Crowdcast, which is what we used. You could also, and they have done this in the past, but we chose not to, is capture performance and capture performance and then Photoshop them together live so that they look like they're in the same space. We also chose not to do that again as well, but the technology exists out there to do that. And until Josh came on, and this was very late in the process, this was very early January, or very early this month, we only had an approximation idea of what it was going to be. We were going to try and do it in Zoom. We were going to figure out how to do breakout rooms and things like that. But when he came in, he knew how to actually make it work and what we were trying to do. So it was the show would not have happened without him. So he's much appreciated and much needed for the process.
Nice. I wish I had a person like this in my team.
Find them, grab them, hold on to them.
I know. Okay. Next question. Oh yeah, about Instagram. Actually, it's great to see you on Instagram. Finally, it was actually it was so funny how I came across it. I was like scrolling, and then like seeing this picture, like shaded black shape of a person, and I'm like, wait a minute, it looks really familiar. Oh, wait a minute, it's me. So thank you so much for using my my I don't know body shape as a face of your company. Although nobody knows it, but for me it's already like I already know. So it's
those who know exactly.
So your company's mission statement. Wow, I think that's an art piece by itself. Can you just read it, please, out loud?
Yeah.
Because it's so clear, it's so articulated, it's so like boom, you know. So please read it to us.
Okay. So I've got it. I'm going to read it from over here.
Yep.
The theater of others believes the play watches the audience. The audience is necessary, and they are witnesses to what happens. We believe that space is psychology and informs the ways in which an audience interacts and reacts to what is presented to them. We create uniquely theatrical events in bespoke sensory performance spaces crafted to encourage curiosity and grant the audience permission to commune with the play. We produce plays that both welcome and challenge the audience. We are committed to international collaboration and are a laboratory that helps artists grow through intensive study of their craft. The Theater of Others creates a shared community of artists and audiences for the purposes of exploring the most profound issues of our lives and times.
Wow. It's like, you know, I have to do this. Yes, teacher. It's amazing. My favorite part is play watches you. Can you just, elaborate on what did you mean? What kind of meaning you put when you wrote it? Play watches you.
So I've always been fascinated with this idea of the two things existing at the same time. You are an actress, and you are also this character. Those two ideas exist at the same time. We are in, let's say we're doing Hamlet. We are in Elsinore. We are in Denmark. At the same time, we are also in this space. So those two ideas existing at the same time. And in between those two ideas, this tension between real and unreal, between there and not there, between that and not that, between those two things, there's a tension that I really love to play with. And I love that that's where drama exists. And so we've always been interested in space, number one, and space is psychology. We say very early on in the mission statement as well. And what we mean by that is whatever medium you're in, whatever space you're in, whatever time space you're in as well, is going to inform how you watch the play. So you've had a really crappy day, you've rushing, traffic, there's something, the babysitter was late, somebody yelled at you at work, and you're going to watch the play. You're taking all of that into the play with you. So your space is informing how you're going to watch the play. So what can we do to create this space to help clear that and get you into our space, into our play? And so I had done a production, one of my last productions in New York was Shakespeare's Henry VI, Part 3. And I had an actor who was playing this kind of multitude of roles, kind of messenger role, all the little bit parts. I didn't want to have to cast somebody again and again and again. I just gave them all to one person. Kind of created this angel role, and he was watching the play as if he was an angel. And I told him, it's okay for you to watch the audience as well. It's okay for you to look at the audience, break that fourth wall. And he didn't quite understand the concept and didn't quite like doing it. Unfortunately, but also fortunately, but unfortunately, he had an accident. He was hit by a taxi, and he could not finish the run of the show. So the last week of the show, I had to go on, and I had to watch the play, and I had to watch the audience. And there was this moment in one of the last couple of shows. I'm sitting on stage in a kind of on a ladder position, looking down on this play. Again, I'm this angel figure. And I'm watching the play, but I can watch the audience. And I start looking at the audience. Now, I'm a director. Of course, I'm always going to be looking at the audience. I know what the actors are going to do. I know the play by heart. So whenever I'm in the audience as a director, I'm watching the audience more than I'm watching the play. So I basically just started doing what a director does. I started watching the audience. What's landing? What's not landing? Are they enjoying this? Are they laughing? Are they, sad? Whatever. But what happened one night is I caught the eye of an audience member. An audience member saw me seeing him. And in that moment, he straightened up and got a little tense, and because he realized I was watching him. And that moment of him kind of doing that, I could see it spread through the audience. They didn't know I was watching them. They were watching the play. But just the concentration of that moment spread through the audience. And then the actors felt it. You know how this is being on stage. You can feel when an audience engages and disengages. All of a sudden in that moment, they engaged. And then the actors gave more, which meant the audience gave more. And it all came from just this sense of, oh, I'm an audience member, but I can be seen. I can be felt. My presence is important. So when we say the play watches the audience, we want to put that out there very, very clearly. You are important. The audience is the number one reason we are doing this. Everything else is just rehearsal. Now, when we have you here, it changes everything. And so it has to be about you. If we ignore you, we should fail. If we don't engage with you, we should fail. But if we can engage with you, if we can interact with you, if we can let you know that you're present, that you're here, that you're important, then you're going to feed that back to us.
And you even go one step further. You're actually asking for audiences' comment sort of during the performance. I'm just going to clarify because it comes from your podcast. You want the audience to be engaged. It's the main part of your work, audience engagement. You want to avoid all the conventional rules of theater, like sitting quietly, in the darkness, fourth wall, and so forth. So you want the audience to comment on the work they see while it's happening. If they want to walk away, so be it. If they want to boo you, not you, but your actors off stage, so be it. If they want to throw food at you, I don't know, so be it. If they want to, think of all the extreme things that audience can do to you if they don't like the performance. So, because they bought a ticket and they have a right to do so, as you say.
Exactly.
Have you ever experienced such audience's behavior during your work? Violent or disgust or I don't know, have it ever happened to you?
No, and I think that's mostly because audiences have been trained to not do that, and we're trying our best to untrain the audience from that. I think audiences are too nice sometimes, and they would rather sit there and suffer and wait until an intermission to sneak off slyly than to just get up and go. But I don't think that does anybody any good. It doesn't help us understand.
So you would be okay an audience actually saying boo, or throw a tomato at your actor and stuff like that if they don't like. You would be fine with that.
Yeah, if we were deserving of that. Now, I have had people disrupt for the sake of disrupting. that's a different thing altogether. But I think I mentioned this in the podcast as well. I've seen cultures, France in particular, where if they don't like something, they will let you know, and they have no problem saying, "This could be better. I'm out of here." But there's a lot of cultures, there's a lot of audiences that will just sit there and suffer. I think what's the point? That's not helping anybody out. You're not having a good time. The actors don't know that, or the directors don't know that this isn't landing well. But there's a difference between disruption for the sake of being a troll, and the world is full of that a lot right now, versus saying, no, 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 we had a bargain at the beginning of this. We had a pact at the beginning of this. I'm going to come here 100%. You're going to give me 100%. And I came here to be engaged, and you came here to engage me. But if I can fall asleep and nothing changes, then what's the point of me being here? So boo to this. This is bad. I need something else. I mean, this model of coming in, sitting down, being quiet, unwrapping your candy lozenge, and not making any noise, that's great for Netflix. That's great for Disney Plus. That's great for all the things on a screen, because you're not going to interrupt anybody, but you're in a space. Usually you're in a physical space with 100 other people or so. Why are we trying to ignore the fact that you're surrounded by strangers? Why are we trying to ignore the fact that we're breathing the same air? Why are we trying to ignore the fact that this is a communal event? This is a community event. It doesn't make any sense. You go to, my co-artistic director, my best friend Booty, always says, go to Bali, and life just continues, and the art is in the middle of it. And if people like it, people will stop and they will watch. And when they don't like it, they will just go away, and that's fine. That's fine.
So how do you educate the audience? And how long does it take for an audience to unlearn? I know it's a rhetorical question, like we don't have an answer for it, but like, do you believe that art in general, the purpose of art is to educate people?
I think that is a purpose. There certainly is a bit of education to it, but it should reaffirm anything that you know. That's for sure. Art that reaffirms, that's entertainment. Now, there's nothing wrong with entertainment. I don't want you to hear me wrong. But art that only reaffirms your worldview is entertaining. Art that disrupts your worldview or challenges your worldview, that can become educational, and that's what art should be. So how do we get an audience to do that? By constantly trying. That's all that you can do. How long does it take? As long as it takes. We have...
Yeah, and depends what culture, what... Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, the interesting thing with our last play, Limb from Limb, is we had people on every continent watching the show, and we didn't know all these people. Now, a lot of people knew us through, me teaching, Booty teaching, or one of the actors, or they may have heard us through the podcast, so they've only heard the ideas. But we also have a lot of people that we had no idea how they heard about the show at all, and they watched the show. And so we can't necessarily engage culture by culture, but what we can do is just stand firm to our belief that you need to be engaged as an audience. Now, theater that is about sitting around a couch and talking about family problems and you sitting quietly in the dark, it doesn't work like that anymore, folks. It just doesn't work. We've lost that battle to Netflix and Disney Plus. So what can we do? What can only theater do? And just keep doing that and keep doing that. And there'll be people who like it, and there'll be people who don't like it. And the people who do like it will want to come back and want to do it again and want to find something new. We did Limb from Limb, as kind of a Zoom play, digital theater, live video art, whatever you want to call it. And so we said to ourselves, what's the next thing that we're going to do? We can't do that again. So what's the next thing? So then we said, okay, we'll do audio drama. And then when the audio drama is over, we're going to say, okay, what's the next thing? So we can't do that again. What do we do next? How do we engage with the audience in a different way? In a way that still seems familiar to our working methodology, but is different in a way that will challenge them again. Because so many of you all know me and my aesthetic and Booty's aesthetic so very well. So it's very easy for you to go, oh, they're doing that thing again. So what is it that we can surprise ourselves and thereby surprise you as well and say, okay, I wasn't expecting this from them. Whoa, wow, I didn't know that we could do this. And I think we came
Hmm.
close in Limb from Limb in a lot of ways of going, wow, I feel really connected. I feel really important to this work.
You say, and I quote you, theater should be a safe place, it shouldn't be a comfortable place. So let's talk a little bit about safety in theater and what does it really mean to you? You're giving an example in podcast about a play that you did in LaSalle with LaSalle students called The Wonderful World of Dissociation. And one of the moments, um, can you actually tell and describe
Oh,
this moment where like
God,
actors were completely quiet for a long time and they were, yeah.
I'm never gonna get away from this damn show. I hate this. I hate this play. Um, so there's a moment, just a little bit of backstory. The character is in a dissociative fugue state. So she has created this kind of Wizard of Oz world. And the only moment she ever leaves the stage, it's actually written in the script, the only moment she leaves the stage, um, I needed to disrupt this moment. This moment needed to feel different. It didn't, the main character leaves for the only time there, and then we do nothing about it. No, we've got to have something there. So if she has created this world and she leaves, then this world needs to go on pause. This world needs to stop. And so we just stopped the play. I asked the actors to do an on-stage exit, basically just drop your character. We turned on the work lights, the fluorescent lights, and we just stayed there. And I basically said, I want you to go until you feel uncomfortable, and then I want you to go even longer. Because the audience needs to understand. They need to feel what they've been in this happy, Technicolor Wizard of Oz world, and all of a sudden it gets turned off and we're in this like nothing state. So I wanted the audience to feel that leaving of the dissociative fugue state, that they were also caught in it as well. And you go for a long time, and the audience is very, very nice and very kind. And there's the giggles that happen first, and they're kind of like, "What's going on? Somebody do something." And then after the giggles starts to become the confusion. After the confusion starts to become the anger. And in the anger state is when people start going like, God damn it, what's going on? Is this an
Hmm.
intermission? What's going on? And I wanted it to be as soon as people started to actually get up to leave, that we would turn the play back on. And there would be nights in Singapore where we would go 20, 25 minutes in silence of just the actors staring back at the audience and the audience being too nice to do anything about it, until finally somebody got really angry and stood up and said, "What is this?" Lights back on, play continues again. And that, again, that taught us a lot. Um, but it was a thing where we were told that the audience didn't feel safe. We were told that the audience felt really uncomfortable. And those are two different things. Unsafe or
Hmm.
uncomfortable. I
But
never,
you were
I,
told that they were felt unsafe. That's why you had to change it,
yes,
right?
yes, yes. I'm not entirely sure, but again, I can't say what anybody's safety is or not. But I think there's a distinction that needs to be made between safety and comfort. Comfort, I'm never looking for anybody to be comfortable. I am always looking for somebody to be safe. My actors, my audience, everybody should feel like nothing is going to happen to them, but maybe something's going to happen to me.
Hmm.
Nothing's going to happen, but what if I did
Hmm.
something? What if I changed this? I want the audience to feel like they could actually disrupt the play, that they could engage with the play. I want them to feel a witness. The witness, we say witness very specifically in the mission statement, because witness, the etymological origins of witness, uh, God, etymological origins of witness from Greek is martyros. Martyros, we think of the word martyr as sort of a Christian martyr or a Muslim martyr, somebody who gives their life for a cause. But that's not what the word actually meant. Martyros actually means somebody who sees something, witnesses something, but then is
Hmm.
called to account to give witness to that. So imagine you've seen an accident on the side of the road, something happens and you have to go to court. You saw it, and now you have to bear witness to that. That's what we want. Somebody who sees something, but also has to bear witness, has to be there in the space and go, I am accountable for what is happening here. And so if you're uncomfortable, you're engaged, right? The fight or flight instinct is there. You're like, I'm uncomfortable. I can't. I kind of sit back and lay back and nod off. If you're nodding off, then you're very, very comfortable, and I never want to see somebody nodding off in one of my plays. Safety, however, if you feel safe, you will do anything. If you feel safe, you will believe anything. You will play anything. You will be vulnerable to anything. So we make it really clear: things are safe, never comfortable.
And Singapore is a very much safe and comfortable place to
Exactly.
live. Was it one of the reasons why you left the country or not? Not like you're moving to the most safe country like Mexico, but
That's for sure. No, that's for sure. I don't know if it was. I don't know if that was one of the reasons why I left. I think why I left was it had more to do with where I was working than the type of work that we were trying to do. I think
okay.
I think with the students that I was teaching and working with, trying to impart that idea of safety to be uncomfortable. I think I was doing that. I feel really happy with that work. But it was also a thing of going, you have to fight really hard for your audiences in Singapore. And the audiences are mostly going to be the same audiences again and again and again. So there's not a sense of engaging with people who are not already engaged with the work, if that makes any sense. You're speaking to the choir. It's the same theater going audience all the time. You're very rarely going to find a new audience member. Not that there's anything wrong with that. There's a lot of work that can be done that way. But I think what we were both kind of interested in is going, one, we're a site-specific theater company in a country where there are no sites that you can be specific about. There's no land that you can just go into and perform. So there's a lot of red tape that you have to get through to actually do site-specific work. So we had to do a lot of work secretly, and we didn't want to have to fight that battle because we were more interested in fighting the battle with the audience, fighting for how do we engage and differentiate and change the way an audience views work. Because a lot of spaces in Singapore, proscenium spaces or black box spaces, we just didn't like, we didn't want to work in. And that's fine for all the companies there. They're doing really great stuff. I loved watching their work, but it didn't engage me in the way that I wanted to be engaged. I wanted to be participating. I wanted to be moving. I wanted to be doing something different than what I'd seen every other play do. And that just became harder and harder.
You and Budi are co-artistic directors. So
Yep.
how does it work in terms of, I don't know, do you fight over, I want to do this play. No, I want to do this play. No, you shut up. I don't know. How do you solve this?
I think we're very close to each other in terms of how we think about everything. There's certainly things that I would like to do that he's probably not interested in, and there's things that he's wanting to do that I'm going, okay, sure, that's fine. It's not on my top list of things to do. But again, we always look at it saying, okay, first off, where are we doing it? How are we engaging the audience? That's what we want to do first. Is it's the why. Why are we doing this play? We don't start with the play first. We start with the why. Okay, why do this now? Last April, when we all went into kind of lockdown, we said, how is theater going to survive? What does it become? Why do we still matter now? When we're shut down, we're not in physical spaces together, why do we still matter? And that's kind of where we started from. And then we got to the what play we're going to do and how we're going to do that. So we always start with the why. And if we're both on the same page with the why, then the what isn't as important for us. I would love to do, I think Budi in one of the recent podcasts said Seagull. And I hate Seagull. I think it's a horrible play. And so there's a part of me that goes, I think I have to do the Seagull now. So now, does that mean we're going to do straight up, uncut Chekhov Seagull, or are we going to do an adaptation? Are we going to find some way, our own way in? We don't know. We have to find the why first. Why do we want to do the Seagull? Why do we want to engage? Why do we want to do theater? I would love to do Angels in America again. I would love to do a new play. I would love to do a durational piece. You know, we had a meeting after the play ended, after Limb from Limb ended last week, and we talked through, I think we have like 15 or 20 things that are on our list of, okay, the next thing is this, and then we'll try and do that, and then 2 years down the road, this is what we're going to do. In the meantime, we're also going to workshop these things. And 15, 20 things, how many of those are going to survive? Who knows? Who knows? Ideas are cheap. So maybe 3 or 4 of those actually see the light of day. Great. We will have known what those are because of the why.
It feels like you're always eager to try something. Like if Budi says, I want to try seagull, although you don't like it, you are eager to try. Does it come from viewpoints, philosophy, that don't say no, just, invite it, play with it, and move, to another direction?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's, by saying no to something, I've shut down any possibility of exploration. Why do I dislike seagull? Well, because I've seen bad seagulls, and I hate that end scene where I'm a seagull. No, I'm not. I'm a seagull. It's that horrible last scene. That's what I don't like. It's just that last scene. It's not the rest of the play, but I've seen really bad productions. Do I think that I have the clue? Do I have the key to unlocking it? No, not at all. I'm not a genius, but I may have a way in that nobody's seen before, and maybe we don't even do seagull. Maybe we start with seagull and it becomes something else. Maybe it's a play that happens within another play, and we're actually watching the play that's inside of the play. It's like when we did Hamlet. There's 1,000 different variations to Hamlet. I did one of them, and I'm not even sure I did it well, but I did it. And so the audience got something very different from it, and I'm sure that they're looking at Hamlet now in a different way because of the way we did it. We did it where we did. We engaged the audience again. We had a kind of a forum piece in the middle of it. I'm almost more, I hate to say this, I'm almost more interested in the structure of how we do it than the what of what we do. And so Booty's there to push the what. I'm there to push the structure. We're both there to make sure that the why is underneath everything.
Interesting. So your entering point would be either a hunch, like an idea, or a play that Booty suggests, and then you discover the form of how to do it.
Yeah. Again, starting with why.
Really good
why are we doing this?
Why, yeah.
And then from there, we can get to what? We can get to the hunch. Okay, so we know why we're doing this. We want to explore why we're important now. Why are we theater people important in this pandemic? Let's just take that. Okay, I think, so my hunch is X, Y, Z. And this is here's a really good play that we can use this to test that method. And then in the rehearsal process, we find the how.
Actually, I want to know, sorry to interrupt, but actually I want to know, why do people should continue care about theater nowadays? Because you haven't directed any films, right? You went straight to directing theater only, right?
I've done a couple of things. I just didn't enjoy it. Some short things. I just don't enjoy it as much.
So why theater for you? And why should we still care for virtual theater now? We're watching theater on screens. Why should I watch this and not my favorite, TV series on Netflix?
You can do both, is the thing. You can do both. The difference is the immediacy of theater. It's unmatched with any other art form. And the immediacy of theater it's a political act. It can become a dangerous act. It's a communal act. When you watch your favorite TV series, it's you and that's it. Maybe your husband, maybe your baby, but that's it. There's nobody else watching the TV series with you. There could be 1 million people in the world watching the TV series, but there's no engagement with that. So the immediacy and the community is what makes theater important. Theater, yes, it is the amalgamation of all the other art forms. It's the only art form that includes all the other art forms. That's cool, but that's not going to do enough for it. What is theater doing that only theater can do? When we are live and in person, you are sitting next to a stranger watching another stranger do something strange. We could use a little bit more of that empathy. We could use a little bit more of that being around people who are different from us, from different culture, different race, different ethnicity, different socioeconomic background, different language, whatever. That is important in the community. Now, why is it important on a digital space? That I think we're all still exploring. And I think what we found, and what we're trying to find continually, is what's cool about this medium, what's really working about Zoom, or even what we're doing right now, is I'm in Mexico and you're in Hong Kong, and we haven't seen each other in 4 years, 5 years.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden, we're catching up, and it's just like old times. And the really cool thing that happened when we all went into shutdown and Zoom became a thing is we reconnected with old friends. We reconnected with the people that mattered to us, right? Maybe you've got to go to work and you've got to do these stupid meetings, but who I really want to talk to are the people that matter to me. And my best friend who was doing the technical direction of Limb from Limb, I hadn't seen him in, years. I got to spend every single day with him for a month. I get to see Booty every single week for the podcast. I get to see him for rehearsals. I get to engage with my best friends and the people that I love in a time when we're shut down and we can't love one another. So that's this right here is why it's important. And I can't engage with my favorite characters from my favorite TV show. They're not going to engage back with me. They're not going to show me any love. This live quality, the immediacy quality of that, that's what's important.
And the funny thing is that it was always available to us, this format, even before. And we didn't call our best friend every day, and we didn't do interviews with people we know, and we didn't create podcasts. I don't know, it's so funny how this year completely, yes, it's been hard, it's been difficult, but for me it was the most productive year of my life.
The same.
Because you're kind of forced, COVID
necessity.
kind of forced us to get out of your comfortable shell, to go and explore, to work with, to get more international. It's amazing. It's amazing.
The necessity of that, it made you reevaluate what was important and what was not important, and who was important and who was not important.
Yeah, definitely. And how do you think it's going to change after COVID is gone? One day, hopefully, it's going to be gone. Not gone, but we will know how to, deal with it.
Yeah.
How do you think theater going to be different, like live theater?
Well, it's going to be it's something I've been thinking a lot about, because are we going to want to immediately jump back into an enclosed space with 100, 150, 200 people? Probably not. But we also are absolutely craving physical contact again. We're absolutely craving social interaction. Maybe it's socially distanced interaction, but we are. So those two things are going to exist. So I think theater that exists outside and site-specific is going to have a huge resurgence. I think a lot of these organizations that have these big institutions, these big monuments to theater, are going to struggle, because they're not going to be able to fill their seats anymore. I also think that this medium isn't going to go away. It's going to become a viable medium that's going to be something separate. So there's going to be live physical theater, and then there's going to be this digital theater, this live video art that's going to exist. And I think we're not going to be interested in family dramas around a couch, because for the last year, we've been stuck around a couch with our own family dramas.
Please, yes.
So we're going to be looking for the bigger things, the ideas, the political ideas, the economic ideas, the ecological ideas that are bigger things. So I think there's going to be a resurgence. So there's going to look back at the classics. There are going to be a lot of new plays that are coming from a lot of great voices that have not been heard. I mean, not just the pandemic, but the Black Lives Matter march, the indigenous rights, all these things have been come to the forefront now, and you can't put the genie back in the bottle. So what are you going to do with that? You're not going to do a play about a middle class family dealing with their son's drug problem. That's not going to fly anymore. So what are you going to do? And I think there's also going to be two things that are going to work against each other. Theater companies are going to try and do smaller and smaller work because of budgets, and smaller and smaller work is going to be too insular. It's going to be too navel gazing. So we're going to be wanting larger and larger work. So those two things are going to fight against each other. And I'm not sure who's going to win. Is it going to be the site-specific large ensemble, big classic, enormous nature versus man ideas? Or is it going to be the state-run theater, or the theater that's in the city that used to have all the funding, now doing smaller four-person plays about middle-class problems with your family?
Yeah.
I certainly hope it's the former.
I feel like some countries were not affected by Zoom, I mean virtual theater at all. Like I look at Russia, for example, people are still like my mom is totally like working full time in a theater. Nothing, they've probably been closed for like a week or two. It's like, keep going. And people just sitting like, one seat between them, one empty seat. That's it. They don't care. They don't know what is that virtual space. What? And I'm sure that maybe there are other countries like this, but I'm really curious to see how small a theater was, like smaller, because Krispy production, we focus on smaller spaces, also like very intimate spaces, audience engagement, and so forth. We've staged something on a traditional stage, but it was quite off, like it was okay. Like we've done that already. I'm interested to see, what's next, what's more we can do. Okay, thank you. So now we're left with 8 minutes, and I'm gonna ask you quick questions.
Quick, okay,
and you
I'll try to be
have
quick.
to reply quickly without too much thinking.
Okay, I'll try.
Ready?
Yep.
What makes you angry?
Ignorance.
What makes you happy?
Art.
What book do you read now?
Ooh. Oh, crap. I'm not reading anything right now.
It's okay. It's okay. You're not reading anything.
I'm reading.
Right
You know what? Okay, I'll say this. I'm reading Dungeons and Dragons Player's Handbook. There.
Wow.
Yeah. We're gonna try and do something. We're gonna try and do something.
Okay. Netflix or cinema?
Ugh. Netflix.
Sex or food?
Oh, no. No. No.
You have to choose. You have to choose.
My girlfriend's not watching this anymore, is she? Food.
Chicken rice or burrito?
Burrito.
Vacation on a deserted island or visiting a big city you've never been to?
Big city.
Money or fame?
Neither. I want a third option.
Okay. Like what?
Fulfillment.
Okay. One artist you dream to work with? Like your god, like you are ready to sell your soul and work with this person for free your entire life. No?
The next artist that I work with, the next actor that I work with. I enjoy working with who I have in the room, and I don't think of anybody beyond them.
Okay. Your favorite movie? That's a difficult one, but I have to ask.
Blue by Krzysztof Kieslowski.
Is it a blue screen?
No, that's Jim Jarmusch. No, blue.
Okay.
Blue is blue, white, and red. So it's 3 movies. They're a trilogy. It's the French flag. Krzysztof Kieslowski, blue, white, and red. Check them out. They're fantastic.
I will. Go to heaven with most boring but kind people, or go to hell with cool but evil?
uh, Boring people, because then I could be the most cool person there.
Okay. Okay. Okay, good answer. And the last one, what's the meaning of life?
The meaning of life is to live it. The meaning of life is to be a good person and help other people along the way. I don't know.
Thank
Life
you.
life is there
Thank you,
life is
Adam.
there to live it. Sure.
Okay, thank you. Last but not least, viewers, we got something for you, a giveaway from Adam. Adam prepared a gift for you. We're gonna say what it is, and one audience member will receive it, but only after you give us your best answer to our next question. Okay. Today we've been discussing a lot about audience engagement in a theater space and how it affects your theater making process, even your directorial, I don't know, techniques and such. So my question for you would be, what else a theater maker can do nowadays in a virtual space to engage the audience? What can you do as a director to engage your audience through virtual space? We didn't have time to actually delve into this really deep, but you can listen to Adam and Booty's podcast, The Theater of Others, and they talk about it in their first 2 episodes. It's brilliant. Check them out. So yeah, leave your answer below. This video is going to be on YouTube. You can comment and leave your answer over there. You don't need to answer right now. Or you can send your answer to me directly on my Instagram or Chris Production Instagram, wherever you can find me, just send it. And next week, we're gonna find a winner, and we're gonna give him or her a what?
So to help along with this answer, I am giving workshops, composition and directing workshops online. These workshops are geared toward both hemispheres, Eastern and Western hemispheres, and it is about composition and directing online, but the work can be directly taken into physical spaces when you're back into physical space. And I am giving a scholarship, a 30% scholarship to everybody. That takes 30% off of the cost of the workshop. And this is a 9-week workshop. This is like a semester of university. This is, and kind of like what I would teach, but in a further level. So a university training for 9 weeks. You're going to be able to figure out how to do Zoom theater, digital theater, but also take it back into physical space as well. And we've got people signed up already all over the world for this workshop. And
Me including.
Christina
I
included.
signed up, and I will join you.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be really, really cool. And it's a great way to save yourself a lot of money.
Yes. So go hurry and find the answer, type it, comment, and hopefully, good luck to you. You will win this scholarship.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Adam. I'm
My pleasure.
a huge fan.
Me too.
I'm a fan
of you. I'm a fan of what you do.
And please, next project, wherever you need help as an actress, as a, I don't know, collaborator, please know that I'm always here, and I would love to work with you.
Same.
Yeah. Thank you. Send my love to Booty, and all the best. All the best to you.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Bye.